Hey there everyone! Welcome back to another exciting video for the Shibarium community and its partners. I'm Cezanne Shib, and my mission is to spread knowledge and positivity within the Shibarium ecosystem. This video is the 19th of all X-Space Weekly DAO Update series. This X-Space was held May 29th, 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another K9 Finance Weekly DAO Update Spaces, week number 19, according to the title up top. Good day. How are you? You are here very early, either following the link or possibly listening to the recording. Either way, very cool. So what are we going to do when you're here this early? Well, you can do a few things. You can request a speaker spot. If you're one of the members of our panel, this is where you raise your hand and come up here to talk. If you can't talk, we can't get you in the speaker spot, the next best thing to do is the comment section. As we're filling in the show, the comment section is where you should go. Bottom right corner, as many numbers down there as possible. Remember, the quicker you get down there, the more visible your comment will be. So take your time, a good one, drop a picture to go with it. Let's get some interactions in the comment section. Helps us all out. Also, the share button still works. You can share the spaces, put it on your timeline, let people know we're here. That's also helpful. You can also send DMs if you know anybody that in particular you would think would want to be part of the conversation. DMs are very helpful. Last is the emoji button. Emojis are still free. They don't charge you. It's not immediately put on your Apple Pay. You can hit the button as many times as you want. Let us know how you're feeling. That's what emoji means. For those of you that don't know what emotions are, because you live terminally online, it's hearts and thumbs and happy faces and sad faces. It's the digital version of how we react. So feel free to do all that. Now, I and the K9 Finance account spot am simply a humble DAO member like the rest of you. I'm actually Pulse Digital, normally on X, but I'm here hosting today because that's what I get to do as a DAO member. And what we have is other members of the DAO that will join us in the show, and they're going to update us on the things they've been working on since last week. So we'll touch base with members like Buzz, and we'll see if Turtle makes it in here. Maybe Meyer stops by. Just people who are working on various things around the community. And as we go through the show, if there's anything that we bring up that you're interested in, that's when you raise your hand. That's when you do the comment down in the bottom right. Tag us, tag whoever you're talking about, so they can come back and answer those questions even after the show. The comment section is still very valuable. So I did approve Buzz to come up in a speaker spot. Buzz, good day. How are you?
Hey, good day. I think we're going to be a little bit light from the K9 side today. Meyer is he's in Austin at Consensus. Just touched base with him earlier today. He's actually been boots on the ground with Russ, talking with people about K9 and having some really great conversations there. He met up with another two people who have been on our weekly DAO spaces who are also advisors of K9, so Enzo and Seth Shapiro. Enzo is the CEO of Alpha Transform Group, and he had a big party last night, I guess, at Consensus, and Meyer was there representing Shima, who's one of the developers on our team. He's actually participating in the hackathon as well. So he's at Consensus right now, spreading the good word of K9 there more to the development community. And Turtle is, he's got some personal things today that I knew about, but we should be hearing from Funk, and otherwise most people are gonna be stuck with me, but perhaps Lightspeed as well, because we got some excellent updates from the world of listings in K9.
Stuck with you is a modest way of saying that. I imagine that if everybody had their druthers, they wouldn't mind having an hour-long spaces just with you and me, because I know everybody would enjoy some of the technical stuff. So what we can do is we can carry weight whether or not they make it or not. Luckily, that's what we're good at, because I got plenty of juicy stuff that we can get into. Now, you did mention right out of the gate that there's listing news and stuff, and I don't want to steal Lightspeed's thunder should he arrive, but we can't just get into this without mentioning what's going on with LBank. So is that what you're talking about, right?
Well, yeah, that is what I'm talking about in some regards. So just in the last week, we've had two successful listings on CoinW, which is a really popular exchange in Korea. I believe we talked a little bit about that on last week's spaces, and then we had LBank go live this week. And then I think at the latter part of next week, there should be another one. I don't want to leak which one. I'm sure that people can guess. It's been talked about a little bit in our community, and there's another one as well, which we just got a chat with. So he's been doing a lot of great work there, and I think for those who are part of our community, they definitely see all of the hard work being done there to get more exposure and more listings for K9, and it's all really coming to fruition now.
One of the ways that you might measure that, I'm sure you've noticed this too in the last 48 to 72 hours, is new members in the Telegram is one thing I've noticed. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. You see so many new people just coming in asking new questions about K9, like what is it, and just kind of going back to the early days of when we launched and seeing that same excitement of people asking questions, doing their first initial deep dive on the project. I think just in the last week, I haven't pulled the exact numbers, but I think over 100 holders have joined as a K9 holder just in the last week, which is awesome. 100 new faces, 100 new DAO members, and I think the community is really doing all of our parts to get the word out.
And there's a lot of different avenues where people are going to be finding K9. So it's not like there's any one place. I'm not just saying that the LBank listing or any of that. There's also things like the recent Coingecko updates that occurred. I know there were some changes to the way that we're represented on Coingecko in different categories. Is that correct?
Yeah, which is awesome. So if you go on Coingecko or even CoinMarketCap, I'm not sure if the categories are reflected there yet as well, but they break down different tags that you can search for tokens. So you could search for all tokens that are DeFi tokens. You could search for all tokens that are LSD tokens. You could search for all tokens in the Solana ecosystem. And Coingecko has updated the tags for K9 to include us in a few categories. And why that's really important is because when traders, people who are looking for new coins to buy, and anyone in the community who's searching for a new coin to purchase, they would typically search by these different categories and maybe sort by volume or sort by different percent gains or losses on tokens. And having these tags on the coin just makes us more visible on Coingecko. And when we look at our Google Analytics, Turtle is exceptional at this. He's always giving us different insights as a team. We see where the top referral sites come from. So we have the data to be able to see, okay, where are people coming to the K9 website for the first time to learn about the project. And some of the top referrals out there are, of course, exchanges, but Coingecko and CoinMarketCap too. And we've seen a significant uptrend in our on-site metrics of people who are coming from Coingecko ever since we got those tags on their site.
One of the most important metrics that community members can track on sites like that is going to be the sentiment on Coingecko. It's very easy to go over there and click the thumbs up on Coingecko, and it's very easy to be present on CoinMarketCap. It's a little more arduous to be present on CoinMarketCap social, but by doing those things, I still believe that as new people come to the market, and when I mean new people, I mean as new people are buying their first crypto, not people that have been around in DeFi for a while, it's still going to be Coingecko and CoinMarketCap that dominate that. And I know we get caught up in like the Coin Gyms radar and coinoftheday.com, like all those tracking sites that we mess with are cool to like get votes on, but I'm serious about Coingecko and their discoverability, because when new people come through, they are very superficially going to look. They're not going to dive into all these little bitty sites and stuff. They're going to check the Coingecko, the CoinMarketCap maybe, and like Buzz is saying, they might just sort by simple tags. You know, they might be like, oh, I'm just going to look for percent of gains. Think about how you guys sort through things when you're logging in. I do Dex tools personally. So like when I go through Dex tools for the first time, how am I sorting things? So having those tags is crucial. It's also crucial for search function. So that's very, very good. Funk, I got you a microphone spot. How are you?
That was for me?
Or any other Funk that might be in a microphone spot, feel free.
Okay, no, I thought you said a different name. I thought you said my real name, to be honest with you. I was like, wait, am I hearing things? No, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing fantastic. K9 is absolutely killing it. Everything's going right, and from the front end of the house to the back end, and it's just really nice to see everything come together and some of this hard work pay off.
Yeah, we were mentioning one of the things I've noticed is the new members in the Telegram, and they've been asking some sort of base level questions, which we've had spaces before where we've talked about the community as a whole will, if things went really, really right, and all of these new people suddenly came flooding in, our old members, our OG members, would be overwhelmed suddenly with like the kind of questions they're answering, and you might be shocked how good you guys have become at answering some of those questions. But watch when new people join, watch what kind of questions they're asking, because I saw some people asking about, is this an official SHIB partner? Why are they an official? How does this go with SHIB staking? And those are the kinds of questions that if you're creating an FAQ as new people come in, that's going to be it. So as a community, pay attention to that type of stuff, right, Buzz?
Oh, 100%. It's all data that we can take in of how to, when people come into our Telegram, it's a new funnel and an opportunity for our community to show a new person what we're up to, or many new people what we're up to. And it's almost all sales. Sometimes sales is a dirty word, but explaining to people what Shibarium is, why K9 plays such a crucial role. Just on my Twitter today, like I think there's still some sort of doubt or maybe a misunderstanding of what K9 is doing for Shibarium. So the purpose of K9 and the mission of the DAO is really to bring DeFi to Shibarium. And we're doing that through the main product, Bone Crusher, which is launching in Q3, where people are going to be able to delegate their bone and receive that LSD token. People who have been here for a long time probably know that, but I got some comments on Twitter this morning from somebody who seemingly thought that I was a SHIB dev, just saying like that I should not be focusing on K9 and I should be focusing on Bone. So I went back with a few messages and tried to educate and say, well, K9 is actually very focused on Bone. That is the core function of what our product's doing, is it's trying to give more utility to Bone and bring more TVL to Shibarium and have more activity there.
In fact, touche to that point, if he was more focused on Bone, he would have already known that. Go ahead, Funk.
Yeah, that's a pretty funny joke there, Shane. But when it comes to educating people on what K9 does, I mean, that's been one of the biggest things that I wanted to come in and do it. And anytime I begin a pitch of K9 now, like my strategy, and to Buzz's point, it is sales in the sense that you have to sell people the vision of it and the way that they could, make gains from it and the potential for themselves, is to first talk about Shibarium and Bone, because some people don't even know what Shibarium is. Some people don't know how Bone plays a role in it. And then if they don't know that, how are they going to understand what K9 even is, or what it does, or what it's for? And in addition to that, if you can lay out that framework for them, now when you explain K9, they say, oh, K9 is not just another token launched by the SHIB team. In fact, it's not a token launched by the SHIB team at all. It's a token launched by the decentralized DAO known as K9 to help Bone and Shibarium. They can understand where it fits in the context of the puzzle. Same thing with Treat, man. I was talking about Treat earlier today, and understanding that it's not just another token just to like do a whole separate thing. And all these things are pieces of the puzzle that lead back to #SHIB. And I think when people understand the layers of it and how one thing's under the umbrella, layer two's under layer one, and the burns that go back into SHIB, and where K9 increases the total value locked of Bone, K9 is a huge catalyst for Bone to kind of potentially increase in valuation, increase its floor. And so when people understand how much it's going to do for Shibarium, including Shibarium traders, project owners, and things like that, that's when people start to understand the whole puzzle and they get bullish on what we're specifically doing in our own sector, in our own little division here to push everything forward.
I think sometimes you take for granted that, like you're saying, that some people might not even know about Shibarium, and you're in the business of selling something that works on that chain. It's the equivalent of selling something that mixes into coffee to people who don't know what coffee is. And you're like, oh, I've got this awesome stuff that you mix into your coffee. It's delicious. Everyone loves it. And they're like, that's cool. What's coffee though? And you're like, what? I'm sorry. Right. And I know Lightspeed's laughing because the idea that someone doesn't know coffee doesn't compute with him. But you have to explain to people sometimes the whole details of everything. Because if they don't know what Shibarium is and they don't know what Bone is, then it's going to be hard to explain what K9 is doing. That's all great points. Lightspeed, how's the microphone? How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing, buddy?
Better than I deserve some days, man. We talked a little bit about listing stuff a minute ago, but we haven't dove too deep into that stuff, so you didn't miss anything yet.
What I'm trying to do is stay at least a step ahead of Buzz now because he's approached or exceeded Lightspeed.
Is his microphone working for anyone else?
Yeah, man, I can hear him. Can you not hear him, Buzz?
Yeah, I hear him. It's just Buzz that doesn't hear him.
Typical. Buzz,
Yeah,
you want to reset and jump back up?
Yeah, it must just be me. I'm gonna hop down and then get back in.
Rotate.
That's too bad because I was going to tease him.
Yeah, that's a bummer. It would have been a bummer to get roasted, not even been able to hear it. Only catch it on the recording.
Yeah.
We'll bring him back up so he can be your punching bag the second time around. Don't worry.
Yeah, no problem. But I'm just trying to stay a step ahead of Buzz right now, queuing things up. And then once I think I've gotten it where it's pretty well negotiated, then I do the handoff. And then they start finalizing the details, account setups, and I go and continue to work down to the next one. So it's working pretty good. I like the cadence that we're on. They just finished up another listing, and I presented another one over to Buzz and built up the groups, and then they just go and double check everything I've covered up to that point just to make sure I haven't made any mistakes. And it's working pretty good. I appreciate how the whole setup is.
Now, the last time we touched base last week, I know it might seem like it had been longer than this, but we left the spaces and the next day had the watch party for CoinW. So what have things been like over there? What's the impression of the volume, and how are you feeling about that?
CoinW definitely surprised me right from the get-go. I found them to have more organic volume than I expected. It's smaller, a little bit smaller than some of the others, but it's organic, and I like seeing those numbers. I like seeing real numbers. Those are really good for the project, and so I'm pleasantly surprised. It's the first time I've ever worked with this exchange, but they have also been very cordial and easy to work with, and we can hear what Buzz thinks, but I just thought that they were a very easy exchange to work with and good communicators.
Go ahead, Buzz, if you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I can hear Mr. Lightspeed as well. Yeah, I've been really happy with the amount of listings and offers that have been coming K9's way. I think more are going to be down the pipe, but as per your comment on Shibarium and how integral it is with the pitch of K9, I was just on a space earlier, and I always like to start pitches with talking about Shibarium as well too, and try to explain to people that Shibarium is an EVM chain. It's just like building on Ethereum. It's just like building on Polygon. It's just like using those chains too. You can add it to your existing wallet, your MetaMask, and you can use the chain. But you have the power of the Shib Army behind it. And when you're taking an Uber anywhere in the world and you ask the Uber driver, like, hey, have you ever heard of crypto? It's very likely that they've probably heard of 5 coins, and one of them is Shib. And I think when you look at other chains that have taken off, you could look at Matic or Polygon or Solana or any of these chains. There's always been this big catalyst that's happened and allowed it to go 100x, not only in the price of the token, but in the number of people that were using that chain. And when you start to envision Shib and Shib having a blockchain and so many people in the world recognizing this brand, it's easy to envision how Shibarium could totally take off at the same rate of these other blockchains. And that's what makes me so excited about K9 really being that infrastructural layer of DeFi, is because when, not if, Shibarium takes off and it has that incredible brand recognition around the world with Shib, K9 is right there and is going to be a focal point of crucial infrastructure for DeFi activity to be happening. So we're just so lucky to be an official partner of Shib, and really have the implicit backing of so many great people within the community. And with the brand recognition that Shib has, I think you can really see how, with the improvements that they're making to the blockchain, that the Shib team is making, with the improvements to the bridge, which I think was just announced yesterday, with ShibaSwap coming to Shibarium, with Treat coming, and having all of that funding in pocket to make, not only making a lot of improvements to the blockchain, but new reward systems as well. You can start to envision this world where Shibarium does start to take off in TVL and liquidity and transactional volume, and K9 is going to be right there.
So let me ask you a question then, Buzz, because it's my nature to stir the pot. Lightspeed's going to love this. If it is true then that Shibarium has that potential to blow up in that manner, and the Shib Army is the primary backing for that, then how do we share the load? How do we share the weight of carrying the need to educate people beyond just the Shib token? Because as you drill down into this, it's like a funnel. We've discussed this before. Getting people to know about Shib is one thing, but then do they even know about Bone? Because Shib is a thing, but how many people touch Bone? Do they know what Bone does? Do they know about Shibarium? Do they know Bone works on Shibarium? How do we drill down through all of that noise and get people who are Shib enthusiasts but Bone agnostic or Bone unaware, all the way down to the point that they are transacting in K in Bone? Because from where I'm at, and I am a total degen crypto, I am not solely wrapped up in anything Shib related. I've got my eyes and ears everywhere, my guy. I had a session today with another liquid staking platform that has $6 billion in TVL. So I'm talking to all kinds of platforms that do this. How the hell do we get all the way down from Shib token to KN Bone and capture those people? And stand up first to save you, Buzz. Funk, take the bullet for him while he thinks about the answer.
Yeah, I mean, well, the good news is it's not solely K9's responsibility to do that, but in going and talking to people about K9 and beginning the pitch with the top down from Shib to Bone to K9, we are doing that inadvertently with our own marketing army. We're increasing the presence of Shib and Shiba Inu related things within the X space sphere. I always want to say Twitter, X space sphere within Telegram, and as we're netting new people, they're getting educated through us about that. But ultimately, yeah, it's not entirely up to K9. It is up to Shaitoshi and the Shib team, and then the general other Shibarium projects out there. There's a ton of great Shibarium projects out there. Many of them are in here or listening to this chat. And there's also many ETH tokens that are Shibarium adjacent or working with Shib. So it comes to the grassroots DeFi community. It comes to the Shib team as well for the education on that. Centralized exchanges, you know, when Bone, I know the big thing is when Bone, Binance, and things like that. Those are the types of things that bring attention, and then people start to connect the pieces. But of course, we're doing our end every single day. In every new holder we get, they read the white paper and they get educated by us and VCs or whatever else. We're doing our part to educate whoever we can.
That's a great answer. Buzz, you want to take a shot?
Yeah, I mean, I look at it from like two perspectives. Like, I think the Shib team and everybody in the community does and is doing a great job of trying to educate with this, but it comes down to, on one hand, brand touch points to me. Like when somebody is owning and only owning Shib, like is there a way that we can contact them, or at least have like logo recognition of Bone? Like, hey, you have Shib in your wallet, and maybe if you're ever connecting to ShibaSwap, or you're connecting to any of these sites or games or the metaverse or anything that's being built, always kind of like top of mind, almost as though it's an e-commerce problem where it's like, hey, click to add this to your cart, or if you've ever shopped and ordered a pizza online, if you order a pepperoni pizza, right at the end, it's like, hey, do you also want dipping sauce? So I think a lot of it can be accomplished with how we're building products as an entire ecosystem. But at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to content. I mean, I spoke with, this is a few months ago, I spoke to a YouTuber who does a lot of Shib videos, and I just kind of asked the question, like why don't you really talk about Bone as much or Shibarium as much? And the blunt answer that he gave me is because it doesn't get as many views. So content creators have kind of really made this business around only talking about the things that really give them views and ultimately making them money. So it's really up to the community. Like when we're seeing great content about Shib and about Bone and how K9 plays a role in that and how the whole ecosystem works, really supporting that content to give them those views and that empowerment to continue making more. I don't know if Random Arts is in the chat right now, but I love his channel. He's I just want to give a shout out to him. He's somebody where I watched almost all of his videos. He talks about Shibarium a lot and a lot of the coins within the Shibarium ecosystem and really explains well the full circle nature. But content is king and it's education. It's these brand touch points. Where is somebody going to learn about what's going on in the Shib ecosystem? It's probably from a YouTuber, it's probably from a content creator. And as a community, we really need to support people who are building content around education and not just what gets clicks. Like I know these videos about, hey, is Shib going to 10,000x this year? They get clicks because for the average person who may not be as deep in this ecosystem as we are and listening to Twitter Spaces every single day, they're probably only going to watch one video about Shib a week, and it might be 5 to 10 minutes, and they're going to click on the one that has that cool title and that cool thumbnail about Shib maybe going 10,000x. But we need to support building great content and people who are educating in this space to give them the wherewithal to continue doing a great job in that education. And we're going to do our part as much as we can from the K9 perspective as well.
Supporting the creators is a huge part of that push. Lightspeed, do you want to try and touch on that one? Why, how hard is it to funnel people down from Shib primary token all the way to K and Bone? What's the secret?
Yeah, for the last year, I empathized a lot of being confused that somehow I've morphed into being one of the Shib developers. That's nothing from not even remotely close to the truth, and I'm not even deserving of it. And so that's all people think, right? As partnerships, obviously, we're closely connected and want to advocate for the entire Shib brand. But and we do that through our products. And so I think the products have to speak for themselves. I think when Buzz and his crew get that online and working and people start saying, hey, check out, look at my awesome awards that I'm getting, rewards, that may start getting people's interest and going, well, now it looks like money. Now it looks like there's a way for me to make money. How can I get on this? And so that's definitely one way you can go about it. And I'm optimistic for it. I can't wait to put mine in.
Sure, man. Let the software do the work. That's another way to think about it. For me, when I think about Bone, and it's like I said, from a DGen perspective, outside looking in, the memeability of Bone is not nearly what it has always been for Shib. And the content for Bone, I think, suffers from that, kind of going back to what Buzz was saying. There's just not as much. The jokes aren't as easy. It's not a Shiba Inu dog. The logo itself, although it is a easily visually recognizable logo, doesn't lend itself to being easily memed. You can't just crop the face off of a dog and put the Shib dog on there the way that you can with all this stuff. So at one point, Buzz had a conversation. I remember you said you talked with Lucy at length about the importance of memes within the Shiba Inu community, and she kind of gave you this primer on this. And I remember that you came away feeling like, wow, I didn't realize how important that was. I would wonder too, the same thing about Bone. If it was as easy to make the memes, if the jokes were as easy, then it would be front of mind, like what you were mentioning. You gotta keep it front of mind. So I think there's a lot to get people all the way to K and Bone, and it's interesting. It was just something I've seen people talking about, like how much of getting people to buy Bone to stake on our validator is something we're going to be having discussions about, because people are going to be like, oh, how do I use the validator? And we're going to be like, well, you got to stake your Bone. And they're going to be like, what's Bone? And you're going to be like, oh, well, I didn't realize I was going to have to go backwards like that. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thought, I think. Go ahead, Funk.
Yeah, I find Bone very memeable, just not very safe for work memeable. But aside from that joke, I do feel like I do feel that TVL is going to be one of those big things. I do think the price of Bone is going to be one of those big things. The price of any chart, the chart action is kind of what draws people to it. And then when they get drawn to it from the price, from the charts, from people talking about it, then they sometimes learn about it, then they sometimes dig deeper and like, what is it that I traded for on Uniswap here as I was just chasing this green candle or whatever it is. So I think it's a lot of things coming together. It's not one thing, and you can look at it from the top down, or you can look at it from us on the bottom layer here, the Shib and Bone investors at the bottom up, and the word of mouth. But everything obviously has to come together, and it all plays a role in it. There's probably utilities on Sol that are very complicated. No one would know about them if Sol wasn't a bajillion market cap, right? And so I think that it'll all come together in a glorious type of fashion.
Lightspeed, I saw that hand. You put it down. You want to go ahead?
I think it's super meaningful. You can take a cartoon of a Shiba Inu running with the bone in its mouth, and then it starts digging a hole, and it throws the bone into the hole because it was digging, and then as it's filling the hole up, it kicks out one of those bones with a little K9 ribbon on it, right, as an illustration of LSD. And so, it all comes down to how creative your creatives and marketing team is, and to start looking at the products themselves and make commercials. And so if you start looking at it more from just general business and actually just make commercials like that, it may work.
One thing that I look at is we're approaching 7,000 holders with K9. Bone has, and I just looked, 93,000 on-chain holders. And I think, just going off of top of math, I think less than 5% of those holders are currently delegating to a validator. I think for us to really achieve the goals that we're looking for, it's reaching people who, at least at first, to reach these goals, it's reaching people who have Bone and educating them on why they should use a K9 validator and how that can benefit them. And hopefully that funnel helps bring us more holders as well. I think there's such a vast sea of opportunity that we haven't yet gotten to. And it's something that we're going to be putting a big focus on once our product launches, is how do we get in touch with more Bone holders specifically, because I think that funnel from going from a Bone holder to using K9 is much more likely than somebody who owns Shib right now. But that the people who own Shib and those 1.8, I think it is, million holders on chain, they're going to be next to tackle as well.
Those are good points. The whole campaign just to attract people over will be a big deal. So about halfway through, normally we do a little less than an hour on the Spaces here. So this is your half an hour checkpoint. Hi, welcome to Spaces. It's K9 Finance and the boys hanging out up here doing the weekly updates and stuff. Buzz mentioned earlier we had a bit of a thin crew because of consensus this week. Some people are traveling and stuff like that, but we've just been covering some updates. We talked about some listing stuffs. We're talking about some stuff. I just had my mind spun out earlier when Couch Adventures in the Telegram asked that question, Buzz, and I sent you a flurry of things that I'm not going to talk about on here, but I had that epiphany moment earlier today of like how few people I think are actually understanding what's going to be happening when K and Bone becomes a live thing. And your conversation with me really helped figure that out earlier, but now I feel like I'm looking out the windshield of a car and I'm just like, oh God, does everybody else see this coming? But I appreciated you clearing that up for me. Now, we have not talked about the token burn, which is what I'd like to kick off a completely different conversation about. We're about to burn a bunch of tokens. Is that true? Who wants to talk about burning tokens?
Yeah, I can do it. This came out of a marketing idea that people in the community had, recognizing that I believe it was in 2021 when in the month of May when Vitalik burnt all of that Shib back in the day, and to pay an homage to something that seemingly, and I'm not sure if this is contentious, but really rose Shib and put in the eyes of your average consumer, gave it incredible brand awareness across the world with what Vitalik did as a major catalyst. And they wanted to pay the K9 community wanted to pay homage to what Vitalik did. I believe he burned 410 trillion Shib. K9 did a vote within the DAO to see if we could burn 410 million. The vote passed a few weeks ago, and we decided that we would burn the tokens at the end of May to pay homage to what Vitalik did for Shib, and seemingly the community is very excited for that. I know that the Shib token account is in here. They've been very supportive of us doing that and paying homage, and yeah, that's going to be happening tomorrow, probably towards the end of the day.
What do you got planned for that? Is there something going on in the Telegram or anything?
Well, I think if anyone's here and they would like us to plan something, we could definitely do that. I think there is a Telegram VC that Frank does, and Frank, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're Fridays at 9 p.m. That Frank always does a little bit of a hangout there in Telegram, but we can certainly do a little bit more formal of an event for that. It's in terms of operationally, it's just a function within our smart contract that we'll be enacting, or the multi-sig will be enacting to burn that many tokens, and those tokens are going to be removed from supply forever. We've gotten the question of like, oh, where are these tokens coming from? Are they coming from tokens that were circulating? And the answer is yes. K9 has accumulated a lot of K9 tokens via the taxes since inception. So the taxes that were once in circulation are going to be part of this burn. And so those are removed from supply forever, and the total supply of K9 is going to be down forever.
Awesome. And when you do something like that in the Telegram, the reason I ask is I just didn't know if you guys were getting together, if there was a set time, or it did occur to me that there's probably a multi-signature event. So I don't know if you know exactly when it's happening now.
No, I don't know the exact time that it's going to occur tomorrow, just because, as we've talked about a few times on these, the auditor of K9 is on the multi-sig wallet as well, and it really depends on their availability. So like whenever transactions are occurring on the multi-sig wallet, there's a certain number of signers that are required to say, hey, yeah, the DAO has approved that action, or hey, this is an action that's approved under the DAO structure and the governance structure of K9. So there's always that oversight when transactions are occurring, so that one of the multi-sig holders can't just go on there and be like, hey, I want to burn half the supply. It all needs to go through a process and be approved by the appropriate parties.
All right, well, we'll look forward to updates then in the Telegram, or at least on X, as to where that's going. But the voice chat tomorrow, you said 9 p.m. Eastern in the Telegram, right?
I believe so. It's either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Eastern. And I know Frank, I think I saw him in the chat here. Frank is more than welcome to come up as a speaker if he wants to give a shout out to officially what time that's out.
Sure thing. Hey, Funk, I had a question about the latest media roundup. You've been putting those together and posting those, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me about the last one you just posted like 2 days ago?
Yeah, so the weekly media roundup, what I do is kind of, we just get so much organic kind of media because of our relationship with Shiba Inu, because of our, the token metrics and just how strong the marketing has been, in addition to, probably occasionally ones that, for example, like marketing agencies and things that we work with put out for us as well. And so what ends up happening is we end up with about anywhere from like 10 to 20 to 30 articles every single week that are just being written about us everywhere. And so functionally what we decided to do is the best place for them is to round them all up and put them together in a tweet at the end of each week, which is also very good for historical context to kind of look back and when did this happen? When did this happen? When did we get on Shib magazine? So I do, I could, if I were to take it a step up, kind of organize them based on, I guess, how reputable or important the media was. But I'll also, I think, be including YouTube videos that we get on those too. So people, who want to just come at the end of each week and look at those tweets and basically be able to pick and choose what they want to read about or what the events that happened is. And otherwise, it just shows how much presence we have, and that kind of emboldens people and lets them know that, we're everywhere all the time, and we're working really hard around the clock, literally, to push K9 forward, to push the chart forward, to push the utility and product forward. And one thing I would just remind everyone is the product isn't even out yet. Bone Crusher is not out, and we're already at this level with this amount of presence, and I can't wait for the product to be out, because one thing I love to do is market actual utilities and be able to showcase it and give a lot more talking points to jump off of and show screenshots and UI. I mean, we could do that through videos, but in any case, when these articles are going to have that screen shares with it, screenshots, things like that, it's going to be a really strong marketing tool for us, I think. So, yep, those are the weekly roundups.
Funk is going to like this because he would never do this himself, but since I'm doing it, he can't stop me. I think he'll enjoy this. You guys haven't even seen what he can do when he's got software or a product, because back at CoinMerge, he's been doing this for a minute, a long country minute. Like, he's having things to sell and putting software in front of people and having conversations. You've been doing, has it been 3 full years, Funk? You've been doing that?
Yeah, actually, I miss it because we used to do it with a different product that I'm not going to mention necessarily in here because I want to keep it K9 related. But I would love to do screen shares, especially on Telegram. I mean, I would love if Spaces built a feature for us to be able to kind of screencast while doing Spaces. Obviously, they have a different feature on here, which is a live video stream, but it's different feature than Spaces. But yeah, I can't wait to be able to go into Telegrams, screen share the platform, and walk people through it and show people the features and all the cool elements of it while I'm presenting. It was an extremely effective tool to kind of show people rather than tell them, which is a really strong marketing technique.
Funk has done his work at explaining software to people before. I've seen it firsthand. So is Lightspeed. So for those of you that don't know why he's so excited to have that stuff, because people sometimes are visual learners, and that's why Buzz is releasing these videos, the update videos showing the UI, showing how everything works. But when you get someone that can be there and run you through this stuff, I'm excited for you to get your hands on it too, man, because I've seen you do it before, and I think it'll be cool. I think the community will really benefit from that. Frank did come up. You guys goaded him into coming up here. Frank, what's up, man?
Doing good, brother. And the VC is at 9 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. So we also have one on Mondays.
All right, that's what I thought. Buzz got it right. By now, he knows. He knew. Everything going good? Can I ask you, Frank, because I've seen you asking a couple of times to get some co-hosts and some stuff like that. What has your experience been as you learned to host these things from to another? You can let it all out, man. What's it like?
I don't have a problem with the hosting. I just feel like we can get more of an audience if we have a team member, because I'm not famous. But like I say, it's been going good. We've had some great VCs and some learned some things and taught some people some things, and like I say, it's great. We have a good time, and like I say, we bring a lot of the knowledge and things that's happened throughout the week to the group, and we average between 20 to 40 members normally on a VC.
I like that you say that you're not famous, but you're up here on a speaker panel while the Shib token listens to every word you say breathless. Waiting for it. I don't know what fame really is. I've never really been able to put my finger on that, because in the crypto world, it's more infamous than famous, but you're up here in the speaker panel, man, and that's good enough for me. You're famous in the K9 community, as cheesy as that sounds. We appreciate the work that you do, and you do not need someone famous. What you need is someone with a game plan, or somebody with a hidden talent, or maybe a karaoke night. I don't know what you want to do. One thing you can do is ask GPT for Telegram games. I don't know if you've tried that yet, but Lightspeed and I have gone back and forth with that. Ask for word games and stuff like that. You can do games in Telegram. There's all kinds of fun stuff.
I think what we got to do is do a call to any listeners here to give Frank a follow to make him quote unquote famous. I don't know if you were referring to me, Frank, but I definitely don't feel famous. I hope that K9 gets all the spotlight, and there's a ton of growth to come. So if fame is one of those things for K9, then great, but we got a lot of work to do as a community. And I also want to give a shout out to someone else who I see in the listener panel right now. I'm not sure if they want to be named yet, so I will just reserve naming them until they've kind of given me the implicit ability to do so. But there is someone who's a member of our community who's going to be starting a K9 TikTok account. So we do have a K9 Finance DAO TikTok handle, but we've never really posted on it. So there's an amazing member of our community here who's going to be taking on and has volunteered to start running the TikTok account and mirroring a lot of the content and articles that we're getting out. And I just wanted to show a lot of appreciation for that person who's really stepped up in our community, and I have really high hopes for it. I've seen the content that they've been putting out on other TikTok accounts, and I think it's awesome, and I think the community is going to love it.
I don't know why, but since you're not going to tell me who it is until I find out, I'm going to picture it's Radar doing all the dances and all the latest moves and stuff on TikTok. So until I'm proved otherwise, it's Radar, and then I'll find out otherwise, because I know he's listening. So I wanted to tease him today. Shout out to Radar for making it into the spaces. We got about 10 minutes left, or a little less than that, before I would normally wrap up. This is where I would like to phase normally into Buzz's corner, and then after that, we'll leave a little open space for anybody that has any questions, concerns, or thoughts, if that sounds good for everybody. Buzz, what's it for me, dude? It's been a crazy week. Like, things, I'm starting to lose track of time with the way that I'm hosting spaces and the subjects that I've had to discuss in the last 7 days. I can only imagine what you're ready to go over, because my 7 days have been nuts. What's Buzz's corner got this week for us?
I don't have anything prepared really this week. You can definitely hit me with any sort of question on the market or anything in general, and just kind of hit me with a surprise.
Okay. So I've started calling myself the Johnny Appleseed of X Spaces, because my job is to walk through and cast out the seeds of conversation and then let you guys fight over the apples. So here we go. Why did Donald Trump buy 50 Ethereum with a public wallet this week? What's that about? That's super weird, and it's super bullish for DeFi, in my opinion. And I'm, by the way, this is Pulse Digital. I know I'm in the K9 Finance account, but everything that's coming out past this part is all Pulse Digital, so don't hold K9 responsible. This dude goes and buys 50 Ethereum on a public wallet, and we all know that it's public, and he knows that it's public, and he could have done this on any number of hidden wallets. Buzz, is the president or former president of the United States purchasing Ethereum publicly bullish?
That's a great Appleseed. We actually, Funk hosted a great VC in our Telegram last night, and this similar conversation came up when we were talking about what could be the next catalyst for alt season. And one thing that we started talking about was just the November election, and seemingly what it looks like is that both parties are going to be fighting for the votes of crypto people. And I'm not an American citizen, so take what I say about American politics with a grain of salt. I think there's going to be a lot of people who are immensely more educated in that facet than I am. But I do think that it's a move. I mean, Trump is seemingly trying to show the crypto community that he's hip and he's with it, and he wants to support regulatory guidance and fostering innovation within America as it relates to Web3, which I think can only be perceived as bullish. But another member of our community made a great point last night that he didn't think that it mattered which party wins, and that it's all going to be good for crypto, because it's seemingly going to be a battleground for them in all areas, where they're going to try to win people who are crypto curious or like crypto or supporting innovation in the US to get their support to vote for either party. So I'm most intrigued not by the Democrat versus Republican narrative, but more so of the narrative of how are both parties going to win the votes of crypto-curious American citizens. And I think that that sort of exposure for crypto, just being in the spotlight of probably one of the most talked about events in the world every 4 years, being the American election, is going to be great for media attention, great for crypto in general, because a lot of clarity and exposure is going to come out of it.
What do you think, Funk?
Yeah, I don't want to get, again, into the weeds of the politics in particular, but I do want to mention there are more than two parties. And in fact, there's, I guess you'd say like two major parties and two kind of sub parties, the Green Party and Libertarian Party. But then there's also that other candidate, RFK, who's running as a complete independent who, has pretty decent polling numbers. And if you look at Trump and RFK in particular, then both of them are extremely pro-crypto. RFK said the other day that if he was elected, which I don't think he will be, but hey, you never know, that he would actually make the government bill all their expenditures. He's going to put that on the blockchain and make that transparent for everyone. I can't think of what would be more bullish for crypto than the entire government budget being on the blockchain, and what would fall from that. But it looks really good no matter who gets elected for crypto, I think in particular this November season. So we might all get a W no matter what happens.
Those of you interested in following RFK, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he has a live interview with Mario Nawfal on X Spaces tonight, live from Consensus. Mario is actually interviewing him. This is my shameless plug for the other job, but I've been talking about it so much, and since it's crypto relevant, Mario is doing this live interview, and RFK is live at a crypto event. So the conversation, although it is supposed to be crypto centric, I'm sure there's going to be some politics that come up in there, but it should be very crypto slanted. And I know I'm going to have to listen to the whole damn thing because I'm going to be talking about it for the next week. So that is an interesting point, that there are multiple candidates and they are all fighting for your crypto vote. Lightspeed, do you think Trump, was this just him bull signaling to people, or do you think he really wanted to hodl some ETH? Or I'll throw out one more thing since it's Lightspeed. And I also want to ask you, Frank, someone in a Spaces said, what if he was planning on using that ETH to do airdrops at his rallies or some crazy shit like that?
It's pandering, but it's a masterclass in pandering to the audience. So I thought it was well played. I'll tell you what'll make me freak out is all of a sudden that account starts shitcoining.
Yeah,
I'll definitely freak out and go, oh my God, he bought freaking whatever, name the cat coin or whatever it is that's out there, name an animal. But I think it's just demonstrating that he can do some of these things. I don't know if he did or if he handed someone 50 ETH under his name to work it for him. He's got so much money.
Sure. So, you're saying you don't picture him sitting there with MetaMask and his fingers pushing the buttons?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's the picture I want to see in my head.
Shane, what's funny? Sorry, Mr. Lightspeed. I think I had a little bit of a lag there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, don't let it happen again. I'm kidding.
But what's funny is K9 has been, the DAO has been doing different buybacks on-chain via Uniswap to send tokens back to the exchange when the exchange needs a top-up of tokens in different regards. And a lot of these buybacks have been done in $1,000 increments, and they're to top up different areas of the exchange. And some people who have noticed these buybacks have been like, oh, well, why is it only $1,000? It's just funny how when Trump purchases 50 Ethereum to somebody whose net worth is much higher than that, and seemingly 50 Ethereum isn't necessarily probably a huge part of his portfolio. Nobody's really questioning why it's only 50 Ethereum when you're kind of in the land of different communities in crypto. It's always questioning the number, whether it be a burn or a buyback of why isn't the burn more? You can't please them.
You can't please them, Buzz. It's never going to be enough. I want to give Frank an opportunity to touch on that, and then we're going to round out and head out the Spaces so I can get the hell out of here and send you guys back on with your day. Frank, do you think the former president of the United States engaging in decentralized finance is bullish?
I think it's bullish. He's letting the crypto community know that he's supportive, in my opinion. And Buzz mentioned that one of our members said both parties would embrace it. But I will mention this: the Biden administration did not support the FIT bill, so we need to take a look at that when we go to vote.
Yeah, they didn't do it until Trump started doing his bull flag and the kid with the Mog glasses asked the question at the NFT dinner. That was honestly that capitulation in a lot of the spaces I've hosted for Mario. That what you just brought up was the capitulation when at first they said they were going to veto and then they chose not to. That really, for a lot of people, made a signal that Biden was playing the crypto deal from his heels, and that's why a lot of people felt that way. So I appreciate your input on that, Frank. And that's, guys, why you should be going to the VCs that Frank hosts. That sweet Southern smooth voice is available in our Telegram on Friday nights and Monday nights for your pleasure, your listening pleasure, free of charge. You can join the Telegram with Frank, and you might even find yourself a co-host spot if you've got some good stuff to say. So I appreciate you guys. Before we head out, Buzz, I want to say thanks to all the listeners that come to these things. I'd like to say thanks to you guys for coming up in the speaker spot, but I want to give Buzz the final word before I do the closeout. Buzz, between now and next week, what are your lasting thoughts for the K9 audience? And we'll leave them with that.
Yeah, I think it's just gratitude for the community. What I've seen in our channel, that we have certain tasks that the K9 unit and the community can be doing each and every day to help us get more exposure for the project. And I know Frank's really been spearheading a lot of that. And we're getting so many votes on these different platforms, and we're getting so many impressions on social media. So many raids going on and comments and just gratitude to the community of how hard the community's working, and finally seeing the fruits of the community's labor come to fold here the last few days, and just gratitude for how great of a community we've built and how loyal and grateful for our whales and every single person, no matter how many K9 tokens they own. Everyone is a member, like Frank says, of the team, because we are a DAO, and everyone with any K9 token is part of this team and part of this group where we're all going to grow this together.
Excellent sentiment. I couldn't agree more. I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate you guys coming out to the spaces. Remember, every time you hear my voice up here on the K9 Finance account, that means you're 1 week closer to the release of these utilities and products, you guys. So it's only 1 week at a time, 52 weeks in a year. It'll go by faster than you think. Work on some things between now and then. Do a little self-improvement. Do some push-ups. Damn, I don't know, take a nap. Drink a glass of water. The days go by faster than you think. But the good news is as long as you are following the K9 Finance account and people like Mr. Lightspeed and Buzz and Funk and Frank, you're going to be here again the next time, because they're going to share the next Spaces link. And you can meet up with me. Remember, I'm just Pulse Digital. I'm not actually K9 Finance. I'm just a guy like you, and I get to host the Spaces. So if you want to do another Spaces with me, you're going to have to wait 6 days and 23 hours, because we're going to close this one down, guys. Thank you, Funk. Thank you, Buzz. Thank you, Lightspeed and Frank. Thank you, Shib community, for allowing us to host another K9 Finance weekly DAO Spaces. Next week's number 20, moving up to the big 2-0, 2 more weeks, and we can start drinking at these things, guys. I can't wait. Let's go. Have a great day. We appreciate you.